umaga. Mayad nga agahon. Hope everyone is having a good day. Just getting my day started here with more morning cup of coffee. And today, Dazzle had designed this cup. She made this cup for me, and I had it printed on this cup. It's a coffee with Ginno cup. I had it made. They even have a picture of me. That's kind of like Dazzle said. This should be my trademark picture with my umbrella and my hat on the beach. Since not many people on the beach has an umbrella and a hat. But and this is my Copico Blanco coffee. I had this coffee mug made because my good friend Gray, he's been here now in Boracay at least 3 weeks. And the 2 weeks we've been hanging out almost every day. Gray's a really, really good friend of Dazzle and I. Both Dazzle and I. Actually, Dazzle calls Gray her kuya, like older brother. We've just been gotten really close with Gray. He's the nicest guy, and he's become a really good friend of ours. So he always gives me a hard time with my YouTube. He goes, "There you go again, Gino, with your YouTube." It's like because when we're hanging out, sometimes I'll go, "Hey, Gray, let me make a shoot a video of this. I can make a video, or I can add it to a video." So I wanted him to I was thinking of what's a good going away gift for Gray, and I was like, So I had 2 cups made. This cup right here is one of 2 cups. So Gray is now a proud owner of the first ever Dazzle TV Coffee with Gino coffee mug, and I have the other one. So every time, I told him, every time you see the mug or every time you watch my live stream, I'm going to be drinking up this cup. So that kind of connects us, I told him. So I know Gray, he gives me a hard time about YouTube and all that, but I know he got a kick out of the gift because he knows it comes from the heart. And like I said, Dazzle designed the mug design and everything. So he's a proud owner of one of 2 cups. I have one and he has one. So I know hopefully he treasures the gift for a long time. And great travels all over the world. Like right now, he's here in the Philippines. He's gonna move to BGC. But before that, he was in Thailand. So I know he's traveled to Europe before. He's lived in Portugal. He's a man of all, travels all over the world. So hopefully he always remembers Dazzle and I on his travels. To report here, I've been keeping up with the weather. Finally, that our first, it turned into a tropical depression. So now it's official. It's kind of like the first typhoon of the season. So here we are, June 13th here. Officially, there is now the first typhoon of the year. We normally get about 18 to 20 typhoons a year, different areas of the Philippines. It travels to different areas. But this one is in the Batanes region. It's almost like the really northern tip of the Philippines. Batanes, Babuyan Island is called Tropical Depression Auring. So they finally used the name Auring is the name of the typhoon. Not bringing rains here because I was looking at the Weather Channel this morning. Pag-asa is the Weather Channel here. It's cloudy again, but it's not raining this morning. I was looking, it doesn't look like even the outer bands of the typhoon will hit us here. But it's been raining off and on. Yesterday, not too bad, just a sprinkle of rain, but the waves on White Beach were very strong. The waves actually got to like the coconut tree line. I have filmed it on video, so it's an upcoming video. I even saw a sign that says no swimming, on a red flag says no swimming. But but people were still in the water. They weren't swimming. No, technically they weren't swimming because I guess the lifeguards, they let you like put your feet on the water, but the minute like maybe when you get to like waist deep, they consider that, hey, they'll blow their whistle and you're supposed to not go that far. But I was just telling my friend, Green was even saying the same thing. That wave, that strong wave, they said they can get dragged by that. So even if they're knee high on the water, that water can easily drag you. But it is what it is here in the Philippines. Some things here just kind of like make you go, it kind of like that happens here in the Philippines. It's just the way. At least they had a sign. At least they're warning people, don't go out there swimming in the surf. Mary Reyes, hello, Mary Reyes. Good morning. Mayad nga agahon here from Diniwid in Boracay Island in the Philippines. Like the cup, all right. You're a fan of the cup. You're a fan of the cup. Thank you, thank you. Good morning, Daniel, my good friend in Jacksonville, Florida. Good morning. Dazzle, of course, is still sleeping. Daniel, we stay up later here in Boracay. Of course, we're at D Mall. Like last night, we ate dinner at D Mall with our friend Gray again. So Dazzle had a. Hopefully, the next few years you'll see she got her hair braided. With like a lot of people when they come to Boracay, it's kind of like the island thing to do. It's like you get your hair braided. So it looks really nice. I mean, that always looks beautiful anyway. But I was like, wow, this it really looks nice on her. Like the braids really look nice. It even had like a yellow strands. They put it on the braid. I mean, it's like very elaborate braid of her hair. And I think her whole head braided only cost like 500 pesos with the tip, including tip. So about $9 to get her hair braided at Front Beach. And it was funny because it was windy. It was a windy day, So when she got it braided, it's like they finally had to put her like go through like where the stores were inside the store, because at first they were trying to do it with like just a barrier and the wind from the ocean, from Habagat. It's Habagat season now, so it's windy. It's windy on White Beach, Boracay, but the other beach is calm now. That's where Bulabog Beach is, where the calm beach now. All the water activities have moved to the back beach, or here they call it Bulabog Beach here. Usually you see this floating pontoons. There's two of them. Station 1 has a floating pontoon, and then Station 3 has a floating pontoon, where if you're going island hopping, helmet diving, parasailing, even the parao sailboats, usually they're on White Beach at sunset. We haven't been having sunset because it's been cloudy and rainy lately. But usually that's all on White Beach. But now they have moved over to the back beach because that's the calmer beach now, because Habagat season. Merch coming soon, LOL. I don't know if I can handle the merch thing, because it's hard, Ellen, like to ship, especially like a cup. It'd be hard to ship to the US. The cost, I don't think it's gonna be cost effective. I kind of want to do it, like that cup. I want it to be special for my friend Gray and I. I might have Dazzle design another design a cup, and it would be some, if somebody visits me here, because usually people visit me like this shirt. My friend Evelyn gave me this shirt when she visited. I like it because it's got like the jets flying, kind of like represent the flag of the U.S. And usually I'm always having a hard time, like, what can I give the person back? It's like, I feel bad sometimes I'm not prepared. But now I think what I'll do is like, when somebody visits me here, a subscriber, somebody meets me, I'll design another cup. Not this design, because I told Gray I want this design just to be our cup, our buddy cup. It's just me and him. But I'll probably have Dazzle design another cup, and then I'll just give it to the people that I meet in person. The ones that come and see us here in the Philippines. Luthen, calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance of at inner. I've made my mind a sunless space. I share my dreams. Ooh, that is pretty like a poem, man. Luthen, man. Pretty deep thought there. Hello, Gino, and all right, Edgar. Good morning, good morning. Glad you can join us. Glad you can join us. You're, Monkey Man said hi. All right, all right. So I got the topic covered regarding the typhoon. So it's the first typhoon of the year. They were actually predicting this month of June, like two, and we're only in the middle of the month. So maybe there's another one coming. They were Pag-asa, our weather people, they're predicting that two tropical storm or two for the month of June. So we'll see if we have another one after our ring. But this one's already in the northern tip, Batanes. Usually when they're the farthest north, Babuyan Islands, they're already about to leave the Philippine area of the responsibility. But it's gonna bring rain today to most of Luzon and more likely here in Visayas. But we're affected more here by the monsoon season or habagat. June or July is like habagat season here. The waves start coming in here, the wind in Boracay. Should sell the cups. The thing, it'd be hard to sell them in the US. I can get them made here, Daniel. But hey, man, I'll have Dazzle design a cup for you, Daniel, for sure. You've been a long time subscriber, supporter of our channel, so you'll have a cup when you land in the Philippines. You might be landing when you come visit me. That's the first thing I'll hand you, Daniel. It's one of our cups. Hello, Edgar. All right, Daniel. JP Oakley, you need. Oh my goodness. I don't get that one. I don't get that one, man. But that's all right. I mean, that happens. Everybody, bad texting, man. Even me, man. Sometimes I send them, I go, ooh, did I send that? Autocorrect sometimes. The Atlantic is full of dust from the Sahara, so no hurricanes yet for us here in Texas. Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, man. Thank you sharing for that information, Alan. But I do know, I lived in San Antonio, Texas, so I know storms and hurricanes. It's like from the Gulf of Mexico. I know, that's something you guys have to watch in Texas. I even remember when I San Antonio, ice storm. Even there was an ice storm one time when I lived in San Antonio. Can't wait to see her braids. A great price compare. All right, all right. I took a picture. I think I posted it on the community page, the Dazzle community page on our YouTube, and then the Dazzle TV on Facebook. I posted a picture of her. I think one picture of her that she had the braids. But I'll post more. Yeah, I mean, you'll see it on the following videos. I'm sure Dazzle's gonna want to keep her braids for a little bit here while we're in Boracay. Annyeonghaseyo, Chingo. Annyeonghaseyo from Korea. All right, all right. My good friend Ray in Sacramento, California. I used to hear that all the time when I was stationed in Korea, man, for my 1 year. I used to hear that every day. 안녕하세요. I shipped a cup well packaged and it still broke upon. I know, Mary. That's the thing with cups. I was lucky. I have this one cup that my good friend John in Tucson, Arizona sent to me. One of those Starbucks cup with Arizona in it. And it had cactus, Grand Canyon, it's and it made it, he shipped it all the way from Tucson, Arizona, and made it to to our house in Numancia. I was really surprised, but I know he bubble wrapped it, he boxed it, but I'm still surprised because these things are pretty delicate, especially like the handles on it. I know they might not survive shipping, to the but like I said, I'll have Dazzle design one, and then when people come see us, that'll be a good gift for us to give people when they come see us. Okay, just hold them till we come to yes, yes, definitely, definitely. I'll have again, Daniel. I'll have Dazzle design another because I wanted this design just to be gray and nice because that's what I told him. It's like one of two cups since he's my buddy. But Dazzle's really good at thumbnails now. She likes designing stuff. Yeah, it's become a hobby of her now. So I'll have her. I'm sure she can come up with another design. Yeah, yeah. The guns are a reward for getting and enjoying the good people. Yes, yes. Yeah, that might be something I'll put on the cup. I'll have Dazzles maybe put something. Welcome to the Philippines or something, or something like that. That way, it's kind of like signifies that they made it here to the Philippines. Good idea, Edgar. Okay, let me see here. Oh, yesterday, HD mentioned about the LA riot. So I finally watched videos because I haven't seen any videos. None of my feeds on my Facebook or none of my feeds on my YouTube. Not that lately I've been busy here anyway. With my friend, we've been like. He's gonna be leaving on Sunday, so now it's what's today, Friday. So he's only got a couple of days. So even Dazzle told me she goes, wake me up early tomorrow, babe, because she wanted to hang out more with Gray before he leaves for BGC. But Dazzle did promise Gray that we're gonna go see him in BGC. Once he gets settled in BGC. So more likely Dazzle's gonna fly again, hopefully. It didn't help that she saw this video again. Unfortunately, in India there was a crash of a plane landing in India. Prayers go out to the families affected by that. The people that perished on that India flight that landed. She saw a video, and I was like, babe, I told her, you need to stop watching those videos of airplanes because that's not gonna help. For her to get on the plane. It's like, but Dazzle. It's like two things that scares her: are airplanes and snakes. And what does she watch all the time? Airplanes and snakes. She watches on YouTube. I'm like, what can you do? What can you do? All I can do is like tell Dazzle to stay away from that. But she still watches them. But I did see a couple of videos regarding the riots. It's just so unfortunate. Even my good friend Horace, Horace is like he's really involved with like the fire recovery. And Horace, since that his job, part of Horace's job is like the lights, the traffic lights in Los Angeles County. If you can imagine, how many traffic lights are in. He's in charge of that. That's part of his job, and he's been so busy since the LA fires because a lot of the traffic lights get damaged during the LA fires. Now she's gotta deal with riots, and my prayers just go out to Horace and Marie. Hang in there, guys, and it's like I know that's just another ding, another thing not good that happened in LA. It's unfortunate, it's like. That those things still, those things happen. It's like, when I was watching it, upsetting. Really, it's like I'll try not to get political in the channel, in our channel because that never works out. It's like I try to understand both sides, and to me, it's like there's just some disturbing, things that happen, on that ride. That first I saw like them, burning an American flag on American soil. That doesn't go well with me, man. I served 20 years in the military, and I'm a patriot. I would defend even now, the American flag, and to see of an American flag burning in U.S. soil, that doesn't go well with me, man. It's like, and I will always side with law enforcement, military. I'll always side with them because they're just doing their job. Nobody wants to be a riot police. Nobody wants to be the California National Guard. Just they're just protecting property and people. So it's like a tough situation. Tough situation. Prayers go out to everybody there. Hopefully, uh, it can get all sorted out and we can move forward. I see. I can sign them. That's ooh, the light. See, I'm prepared. I'm prepared. The automatic light here cuts off, so I'm prepared. Though Dazzle got me this light, so hopefully I did charge this last night. So hopefully, it won't come on. Oh man. Okay, made in China. You know how it is. This thing is like 200 pesos at City Mall Boracay. So I don't know why it's not coming on because the fan looks like. Oh, I can hear the fan. I can hear the fan. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. The light. It just needed some like pressing the button more. But Gazel got me this gift because she said she knows about the light here on the automatic because I guess it's solar powered. The light is solar powered. So when it gets light outside, the light cuts off. So this light helps you. You can see me better. It's not so dark. Not so dark. That's why, Dazzle's always looking out for me. That's why I love her. That's why Dazzle and I always work together. It's like, we're like the yin and yang. We're always like, the cups are all right. We're forgetting to Panay Island. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Enjoy knowing the good people. Yes, yes. Ooh, that's a good idea. I might even have her design something that has a Panay Island on it. Good call. Maybe at the shape of a clan. I mean, Dazzle's pretty creative. I'm sure she'll come up with a nice design. Alan, I wish the front beach had a nice sidewalk from Station 1 all the way to Station 3. Oh yeah, no, right? Because right now, when you're walking, by the shops, it's kind of like up and down, and now there's like puddles of water, Alan, because, I don't know what happens with like the drainage. So you gotta like, when Dazzle and I are walking on Front Beach, by the shops, by the restaurants, we're like, it's not level, like you said. It's not like a brick sidewalk like it is in Bulabog. And then now there's like puddles of water, So, yeah, that would be nice if they. I mean, they are improving. Ellen, because like some of those alleys in Boracay where it floods, like it doesn't take much rain and it'd be like knee-high water flood. I mean, they fixed some of those, like on Station 3, there was like a notorious alley there where you go in the alley for some reason it just floods. Now it's like, they paved it with brick pavers. It's like I was impressed, and it wasn't flooded. I was like, so they are improving. It's like, but like it is, how it is here in the Philippines. It takes time. Everything moves on island time. Nothing happens in the Philippines fast. And then the budget, a lot of times that's an excuse, for local government here. They'll say that they don't have the budget. They'll be on the next year's budget kind of thing. So it is what it is. It's a developing country. It's like they are developing a lot of things now. Don't get me wrong. Like a lot of construction. Everywhere I'm going here at Boracay, I'm like tall buildings are being built, 9-story buildings, subdivisions are being built, so roads are getting fixed. So they're doing the Asia Pacific Medical Center, that's already groundbreaking, or they're gonna build a new hospital here in New Coast Boracay. it just takes time. It's like I'm sure you've seen it here, Alan, where like me, like even in Katiklan on the mainland, there's this one strip of road near Tabon Port where Dazzle lives. And it just seems to me they've been on construction on that one piece of road for like a year, more than a year. It's like, I'm thinking, man, it doesn't take that long to like. I mean, we're talking not even a half a kilometer of road, and it's over a year that they haven't construction. But again, island time. Everything here moves on island time. But I like that. Dazzle and I actually been walking on that in Bulabog because that's where our friend Gray is staying. He's staying at Seven Stones, and we've been walking from Seven Stones. I didn't even know the Aqua Resort. That was new to me. Our friend even walked us into to Aqua, and right beside that, it's the Black Attic. Really nice cafe, bar right on the beach. So we've been hanging out there with our friend. So it's nice. We do like that. We do like that boardwalk there. GM 5M. Love. Oh, thank you, thank you. Love the cup. All right. See, I'm gonna tell my friend Gray, man, they love your cup, Gray. They're gonna, he's gonna love to hear that. But I know he was touched by the gift because Gray is he gets sentimental because he's got money. He can afford. I mean, it's hard to buy gifts people gifts that got a lot of money. It's like there's nothing I can buy that's gonna that impress him or anything. But it's the personal stuff. The personal stuff. That's why I know when I gave him the gift, he had a big smile. I'm 1 hour from LA, Dito. Yeah, oh yeah, I know, Mary. I know you're like at that Edwards, that you're in that area in the high desert. I'm sure it's not pleasant to see all that stuff happening, even though you're far away from it. It's like it's not pleasant. I know I was like I saw the videos and I was like, upsetting to say the least. Terry the Wolf. Let there be light. Let there be light. Amen. That's what got me this light, man. So now at least it's not so dark. Like when the automatic lights here cut off. You guys can still see me. But it comes. I mean, right now it's only 5:42. It's already light outside. So I think one of our subscriber had mentioned that. He was surprised how early it got light here in the Philippines. Like usually like around 5:15, 5:30, it's already light here in the Philippines. And then he was surprised how by 6:30, it's already dark. By 7 for sure it's dark. And I know like parts of the United States, like I know when I lived in Los Angeles, man, there would be times like it seemed like it was like 8 p.m. already. It's still light outside. It doesn't get like that here. Here at 6:30 at the most, it's already dark. It's already dark by 6:30. Present, all right, peanut butter trail present. You made it. Hey, Olson, my good friend, in Columbia, South Carolina, and Aliyah and Isaiah. Hello. Good day. Have good day, everyone. Good day. All right. And then we're gonna be here, until June 30 still. Gray, he's gonna be leaving Sunday, June 15th. But so Dazzle and I, after that, we'll still have about 2 weeks here. Probably less activity for that, because Gray was here. Gray likes to, we're like walking a lot on the beach, doing a lot of things, uh, uh, go back to our slow pace vacation, and I'll be able to film more. I'll be able to film more videos. Think of like different topic. There's actually a lady here lives in lives in this Airbnb. She stopped me the other day and she said, I guess she can get into Boracay Nucos, where I filmed before the condominium, but she can get me in. There's on Nucos, they have an actual village, like a subdivision where houses are being built. And she said she can get me in there. I think she's a real estate agent here or something. So I said, okay, if you can get me in there, I know people might be interested in that. And then my friend EJ, he just came here to Boracay. They were here. He was here with his family for a few days. We played pickleball. We played pickleball with them at City Mall. I got a message from him, and he's like, he's interested in like a 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. He wanted a house, a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom house. And here in Boracay, the thing here is it's mostly apartments and condos, but I do know they exist. I do know there's 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom, but not many. And most of them are occupied. Most of them, it's people's residences. But once in a while, they become available, I know. But he said, worst comes to worst, if I can't find him a house here in Boracay, he would go with the condominiums. And I told him he'll be, you saw the condominiums at Nucos. They're pretty nice. They're pretty nice. But he's looking at moving here to Boracay because they're from Florida, and their daughter is graduating college this coming year, 2026. So after that, they just want to finish their daughter's college, make sure she's settled in the U.S., and then they plan on living here in Boracay because Boracay to me is just like I know people look at it as a tourist area, but it's a good place to retire because the tourists here in Boracay, they're really all on White Beach. The White Beach area is where all the big hotel, Henan Hotel, Discovery Shores, the Lind, all the restaurants, all the international restaurants, you got your Indian food, you got Greek. We ate Greek food last night. The Azels never had Greek food. I mean, my friend even said, "Well, it's Greek Filipino style," but that's the way it is with all your international foods. They're gonna try their best to imitate it, like Mexican, Peruvian, Indian food, Thai food. But it's not gonna be like the original. There's gonna be a Filipino twist to it because, like, even my friend of mine was telling me we ate ramen the other day, and the ramen was on point. I mean, it was a pork tonkatsu ramen, and the soup was like. That's the same taste the miso, same taste that I could taste when I was in Japan. Everything on it, even the like belly, the pork belly on it, and then the the mushroom, the shredded mushroom. I mean, it's like perfect ramen, almost similar. But the one thing, the noodles were like felt like spaghetti noodles. I'm like, why did you ruin a good ramen with spaghetti noodles? But it is what it is. It's like they will try international food, but they're an island here in the Philippines. There's always gonna be something. Like even with Mexican food, when you order Mexican food here, there's always it's gonna lack that cilantro, or their pico de gallo is just not the same, or but at least they try. And then for me, for somebody like me that don't get to eat that stuff all the time here, it's good enough. Like I said on the previous live stream, a lot of times it's like, when I eat like Mexican food here, I would give it a 6. But like, usually I can eat an 8 or a 9, in the Tex-Mex, if I'm in Texas or if I'm in Arizona, I would give the meal here a 6, but it feels like an 8 because you haven't had it in so long. You just crave that. Or even a simple thing like sour cream. Sour cream is not common in the Philippines. I can go to the grocery store to get sour cream. So a lot of times sour cream here is made by the chef. They create their homemade sour cream. So it is what it is. It's like we just for me, I'm happy when they when I can take Dazzle, like last night, I took her to like a Greek restaurant. She got to at least experience, it's similar to Greek food, She had the crab, roasted crab, the pasta that came with it, it got some olive oil, and the lamb. At least we got to eat lamb ribs. Ellen, I miss the small bread shops there, the rolls with ube, the ones the ones that yummy. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Actually, I think Mike, he lives here in Diniwid. He told me, he's one of the subscriber. I haven't met him. He mentioned to me because I did a video when I walked to get that merienda, the one that just came out, and he did mention to me there was like a bakery in that walk. But I think I know where it is. I know that, but I hadn't stopped. Mike, I haven't stopped at that bakery because during that walk, I was so focused on getting the kamote Q, the sweet potato on a stick. Kamote Q. It's got like they'll fry the sweet potato and they'll put brown sugar on the oil, so it kind of coats the kamote, the sweet potato with like brown sugar on it. And of course they ran out because I went there like 3 p.m. to get that merienda for Dazzle night. And another comment actually said, you only got one banana cube because the plantain banana is the same thing. They fry it and then there's brown sugar coating on it. I only bought one because it was the last one. There was 2 pieces on the thing, and a guy was standing there. He bought one. I was kind of nervous that he was going to buy both. I was like, oh no, he's going to buy both. And I won't have one. But he only bought one. I think he felt bad for me. He bought one. So I said, I got one. I said, I gave him, hey, thanks, Kuya. I go, thanks, Kuya. Because he beat me to the spot. He was there. He's already to order. So I got one banana Q. Then I went to the other stand and got like toron. The toron was good because I like it. Sometimes the toron is like lumpia wrapper. They put the plantain banana, again they fry it and then sugar on the outside of the toron. But I like this one because they put jackfruit on it, slices of jackfruit. And the jackfruit that I like is like when it's more ripe. Kind of like when you're eating a banana. It's like when the bananas that are more ripe, they're good to like make into like banana pudding, banana, those kind of things. And the same thing with the jackfruit. When it's like extra ripe, it's sweeter. It goes really good with the toron. And I'm glad I got that toron. And then ate had langkuga. They call it here in our province here, langkuga. I know in Tagalog, where I came from, in Bulacan, our province in Bulacan, we call that ginataan. Ginataan, bilo-bilo is what we call it. But here in, Aklanon, in their language, they call it langkuga. And that's delicious too. It's like coconut cream. It's got coconut cream on it. It's got the sticky rice ball. It's got plantain, jackfruit, kamote. Good dessert. And they're like 20 pesos, for a cup, And that's when I shared it. And then we shared most of the stuff. It was good merienda. But I think I'm gonna try to hit. Oh, Grace said, "I love this mug." He messaged me on WhatsApp because it pops on my phone. He goes, "I love this guy." So I'm thankful that my good friend Gray appreciates the mug that I gave him. And again, I'm gonna have Dazzle design another design of the cup for people visiting us. But this will be just Gray and Ice cup, the original, the one of two cups. He just messaged, this mug is going everywhere, to France, to Germany, to the US. Yeah, see, that's why I knew my friend would appreciate it. It's not dark here till oh wow, 9 p.m. Wow, Daniel, that's amazing. 9 p.m. and it's still light. Wow. I know there's parts of the U.S. like I know in Alaska. I know they have like different time of the year. I know they're like that, but I didn't know, man. I didn't know Florida was like that 9 p.m. It's still not dark. Thanks for sharing that. I never lived in Florida, Daniel. I visited it. I visited a friend of mine when he was stationed at Avon Park in Florida. I went fishing with my friend, but I didn't notice that. It's been so long. It was like 1991 when I visited him. So land in Nucos is almost 45 peso last I checked. Wow. I believe that. I believe that, Alan. And it's climbing because even the condominiums, like I remember the first time I checked on the condominiums there, the one bedroom condominiums, this was like when they only had one condominium built and they were still building the rest of the condominiums. And it was already like 6 to 7. My friend Gray just like messaged again. He goes, "Happy Independence Day, my Filipinos." He's funny. Gray always cracks me up. But uh, even then, this was before pandemic. They were already asking like 6 7 million, 6 million to 7 million pesos on those one bedroom condos, and you can get that now at 6 or 7. You're looking more like 9 or 10 million now to get those, because that land is gonna appreciate, just increase in price because they're building so much, inside Nucos. It's becoming like a mini version of a BGC in Boracay Island, and then spectacular beach, and then now I haven't been to the village yet, the Nucos village. They're actually building houses, not condos, but houses, like nice houses. I wouldn't be surprised if people are building houses with swimming pools there because, some people got that kind of money, man. There's a lot of people that can afford, people can afford luxury, living on a golf course, I mean, come on. But would not surprise me, man, if even, Alan, if it even has gone up above 45,000 pesos per square meter. That's crazy money. $900 per square meter. Wow, that's like just for the land, And then if you build something on that land, it costs more to build here in Boracay because everything has to be shipped from the mainland. Your steel, your cement, your tiles, everything has to be shipped from the mainland. That adds another 20-25% to the cost of building. But again, it's like there's a lot of rich people out there that can afford that. Yeah, yeah. Alan goes too rich for my blood, ain't it? That's not even in my blood. That's like that's like, unless I win the lottery, and I never played the lottery, so no chances of me ever owning something that extravagant and that rich. Mary, foreigners can buy property in PI if a condo? Yes, yes, Mary. If there's a certain rule here, the condo unit can't be owned by all foreigners. I think the rule is as long as certain percentage, like maybe 50% of the condos are owned by Filipinos, the rest of them, for many foreigners are buying condos here. As a matter of fact, my friend is probably going to buy a condo in BGC. That's the easiest way for people to get, a place like here in the Philippines. Condos are the easiest for a foreigner. They're allowing foreigners, but land, if you're a foreigner, you still can own land here. There's some stipulations, but most of the time, majority of the time, you need a Filipina spouse. The land will be on the Filipina spouse name. I think there's talk about leasing, like long-term lease. I've heard people talk about that, but it's still, most of the time, most of the foreigners that I know here, their land belongs to their Filipina partner. Yeah, it's crazy expensive, Alan. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, it's Boracay, man. It's Boracay. It's gonna be expensive. It's gonna be expensive. Kuya, I saw a bunch of videos of vacant apartments all over. Are expats leaving the Philippines? I always hear that. I always hear, you'll always see videos, people, I think they just do it for views. Because if I did a video and I say expats are leaving the Philippines, it's gonna get a lot of views. But I just don't want to do something dishonest. Like, to me, that's dishonest because it might be in particular area that expats are leaving, but I don't sense that. If anything, I sense more expats are moving here, more foreigners are moving to the Philippines. It's the opposite. But I do know why people do those videos because I know those get views. The thing with YouTube is if you do YouTube, if you do negativity, if you do drama, if you do your controversy or you bash somebody, you're gonna get more views. But that's just not my thing. It's like I'm not gonna do videos or create videos just to get views. That's not the objective of our channel. It's like I wanna bring like honest content. I don't want to I'm not gonna do trick videos or even thumbnails. We're not gonna what do they call that when fake, like the thumbnail it's a wrong thumbnail, it grabs you. I can't think of the word, but it's just, and that's not our style. It's like I think people like to watch our channel. I mean, we're a small channel. We don't have that many subscribers like other channels. But I think what you guys appreciate about our channel is we're honest. We're showing our day-to-day life, nothing special. It's like, to me, that's why the videos are easy to make for me because like I'm just showing like what we do day to day. We don't like to have to hype it. But I don't get that feeling. Like I know in Calibo there's a shortage of apartments. Here in Boracay it's like maybe the off season there's more available, but Nucos, it's like people are moving into Nucos. My friend Ray just moved in. Oh, clickbait. Thank you, Olson. Thank you for the word. I couldn't think of the word clickbait. I'll never clickbait. None of our thumbnails, all 900 of our thumbnails are never been clickbait because to me, that's not practices that I want to do. It's like I'd rather have a simple title, that doesn't attract attention, but it's honest in my eyes. In my opinion, it's honest. I don't like clickbait either. I'm like, they make it like so dramatic, like falling apart in the Philippines. There's chaos in the Philippines. Then when you watch the video, what chaos are you talking about? So to me, just not my style. Just not my style. It's like. Good morning, Ginno. Kumusta? Hello. Mabuti ako, kapatid. Mabuti ako. Maraming salamat for joining the live stream this morning. Balikbayan kay. Daniel, buying condos are huge risk. You will never have no recourse if they go belly up, broke. When they fail to maintain the condo, fix the pool, nothing. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why I always tell people when they move to the Philippines, I really don't understand it, sometimes how people are so in a rush to buy land, build a house, I mean, they haven't even lived here in the Philippines a lot of times. I always tell people, let's just rent, at least for the first year or two. That's been my advice the whole time I've been doing YouTube. And people that ask me now, I'll tell them, why are you buying? It's like, I guess because in the US, that's kind of like the mentality in the US that it's a big thing to own property in the US. It's like, because in the US, you can make money in real estate. You can buy a home, live in there for 5 years and sell it at a higher price. That's not always the case here in the Philippines. You can buy a house here, live for 5 years, and in 4 or 5 years, the house is, instead of going up in price, it's gone down in price. So it's not the same dynamic here. So that's why I don't understand why people are in a rush to buy a home or build a home. Make sure you like that area where you're buying your land or you're building the home first before you decide to really put down roots on that area. Make sure you got good medical care around that area. You got to think things about like that because too many foreigners come here. they get to a place, they built a house, and you've seen it, I'm sure, on YouTube. They built a monstrosity of a house. Here in the Philippines, most houses here, most Filipinos, they're building, small houses, just enough. Foreigners come here and they just build a mansion with a swimming pool and all that. And then 1 year, 2 years later, they want to get out of there. They're like, I'm not happy here. I got to sell this home. And, when you build like a mansion surrounded by tiny homes, it's hard to sell that. It would be hard to sell that because who could afford that for one? It's like, and then a lot of times your dream home that you built, it's not somebody else's dream home. They want something else. So to me, it's a lot safer just to like rent, since rent is so cheap anyway. Rent is so cheap anyway. Why not rent for a year, and then if you really like the area, then buy. If you're not gonna move, if you plan on not moving, ever not moving, because not easy to sell a home here in the Philippines. It's not like in the U.S. where homes go sell pretty fast. Here, it could take you 1, 2, 3 years before you can sell a home here. Balikbayan guy, renting might be a better way to avoid slow. Yes, you can avoid a lot of issues with just renting because rent month to month. I've never signed a lease here in the Philippines on any of the. I've lived here in Boracay for 18 months. I lived in Calibo in an apartment for 4 years. Never signed a lease. I always paid month to month on my rent. I had to pay a little higher price for month to month, but I like it that way because like if something happens, it's like some neighbor moves in with karaoke, drums, electric guitar. I'll be like, hey, see you, 30-day notice, I'm out of here. Easy to move. You sign those leases, you buy a home, and some neighbor moves in you're not happy with. It's like not a fun place to live. When you get in that situation. That sounds so delicious. All right, all right, Mary, all right. Lucita, my friend in Maine. Hey, Lucita. Thank you so much for Lucita for supporting our channel. Thank you so much. I mean, we're a small channel, it's like every person, that's why every person means a lot to me that support us, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, my friend. 9 p.m. is dark, but 8:30 there's still like light. All right, all right. That's the same here. But 6:30, Daniel, there's still kind of light, kind of like that sunset light, not dark, but like by 7, the minute 7 hit, it's like pitch dark already by 7. When is off season in Boracay? All right, good question. Good, I like that question, Mary. The season really in Boracay, I would name it like off season and peak season, but really the whole year. There's people in Boracay. It doesn't matter like if it's raining. It doesn't matter what month it is. There's always going to be visitors to Boracay. But I would say the peak season is like January to June. Like right now we're like middle of June. You can kind of tell like there's gonna be lesser people entering Boracay every day because of Habagat, because it rains. January usually the start. A lot of people come to Boracay because it's ati-atihan in Aklan province for like 10 days in the mainland Aklan, and they also have ati-atihan here in ati-atihan is a festival here in Aklan province, and here in Boracay they have their version. Pretty much we have 17 municipalities in Aklan province, and each town has their own version. It's fiesta, but Calibo's got the grand ati-atihan, the grand fiesta that lasts 10 days of like almost like Mardi Gras. It's like dancing in the street, drinking in the streets, costumes. You name it. You could pretty much do anything. It's a Mardi Gras. It's like it's a lot of fun. So that usually kicks in like tourism, it's like and then while they're here in Aklan province for ati-atihan, they might as well go to Boracay because it's so close. So January to about June is kind of like peak season, and that's summer too. March, April, May, those 3 months are summer. It is hot in Boracay during that time. You know, it's like if you go to White Beach, any of the beaches, man, you gotta bring me. I bring an umbrella. I bring a hat because it is hot. It is just hot on any of the beaches in Boracay. The off season starts like July to December, because from July to December here in the Philippines, not just Boracay, entire Philippines, from July to December, we can get hit by a typhoon at any time. Like right now, it's the first typhoon, Typhoon Auring. It's in the Philippine area of responsibility is what they call it. It's in the Batanes area, the northernmost tip of Luzon, Batanes, Babuyan Islands. That's where the typhoon is now. Probably be by this afternoon, this evening, it'll be out of the Philippine area of responsibility. But July to December, you're going to have about 18 to 20 of those typhoons that will enter the Philippine area of responsibility. The trajectory is always, it comes from the Pacific Ocean. I mean, rare, sometimes it comes from the other side, the West Philippine Sea, but majority of them, I would say 99% of them, come through like the Pacific Ocean. And usually the trajectory, it'll go through like Eastern Visayas, like Leyte, Samar area, or like Central Luzon, you know, like that Bicol region, and then Northern Luzon, Cagayan area. That's where all the typhoons hit. Kind of like in Florida, how everything, all the hurricanes seem to like enter Florida, that part of the United States. It's the same thing here. That's the normal trajectory. And we get about 80 to 20 typhoons a year. So that's usually the sign of, you know, because even here in Boracay, even though we're not at the path of the typhoons or hurricanes, the outer bands of the hurricanes, pretty much, you know, the Philippines is not that big of a country. So if a typhoon comes, you know, it doesn't matter where you are in the Philippines, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, you're going to get rain. You're going to get a lot of wind, a lot of rain. So less people, of course, would come to Boracay when it's like rainy season. But there's still a lot of tourists. I mean, because a lot of the activities like scuba diving, like the beach, hanging out on the beach, eating at the restaurants, you know, rain or shine, there's gonna be people in Boracay. Boracay averages about over 200,000 tourists a month. They've been hitting 2 million visitors at Boracay, like before the pandemic, right after the pandemic. Even this year, there are already trajectories, already over 2 million tourists in Boracay for 2025. Smart man, cosplay Lato for 40 years and most won was $18. Yeah, I'm not a Lotto fan, man. You're a winner every week, Daniel. Vegas will gambles. Good morning, Kuya. Good morning, Vegas will gambles. Good morning. Yes, we also have a condo in Cavite. All right, Cavite. I have a good friend there in Cavite, in Trece Martires, Cavite. My friend Mike. And it's will be ready when we are ready. Oh, nice. I mean, condos, a lot of they're building them everywhere. I mean, I know when we were in Iloilo, every time I go to Iloilo, it seems like they're building new condos there. Bacolod City is another place where I saw a lot of condominiums being built. And here in Boracay, they're building, more condos, more buildings here. So, you know, there's a demand for it, obviously, because even though I have seen, like they were saying, there's a surplus in Manila as far as condos, but I still see them building them. It's not like they're stopped building them. I know I read a story. The reason why there was a surplus of condos in Manila is the Pogo, that illegal online gambling done by the Chinese here in the Philippines. That was going on there. I'm pretty sure it's still happening, but not as overt as it used to be. A lot of Chinese bought condos here because they were running illegal online gambling on those condos. The Pogo is what they call it here. I know they've been stricter with Pogo, but you know how it is with anything illegal. They're gonna find ways. If it's making money and it's illegal, Chinese will find a way to keep doing it. Alan McKay, the real Indian curry house, rich. Ooh, okay, rich. I gotta. Oh, I see the abbreviation, the rich. Yeah, right. That's cool. Cool. Thank you, Alan. And Station 2 is a good place if you like. I love Indian food, man. I love curry. I love the naan. So then I like the how they do vegetarians too, and like the broccoli and cauliflower. I like the vegetarian dishes, like when done right. When done right, again, when they say Indian food here, there's always a Filipino twist to it. A lot of times, but I'll have to check that out. Dazzle's not a fan of Indian food, so that might be a challenge because a lot of food we eat, like a lot of times, I have to make sure Dazzle, would even be willing to try it or that's why a lot of times, like, reason I give up steak. I've been not eating a steak in, last time was my friend from Hawaii visited me in 2016 and I ate a steak with him at Cowboy Cocina in Station 3, not even open, the restaurant. I have not eaten steak in 9 years because Dazzle does not eat steak. She doesn't like steak because when she looks at steak, how there's a little bit of like the juice that got blood in it. Dazzle doesn't eat anything that has blood on it. She thinks it's not cooked right. When there's blood, and I think most Filipinos, a lot of Filipinos are the same. They're not that medium cooked. And for me, if the steak's gonna be well done, that's not steak. That's like but you're wasting a good steak if you cook it well done, in my opinion. Anyway, I like my steak medium rare. With like when you slice it, juices coming out of But so I gave up. On eating steak because I know Dazzle's not going to eat it. Same thing with a lot of food that I've showed Dazzle to try. Try this. For the longest time, she didn't want to eat sushi, but now I think she's starting to come around on sushi. And now kimchi. Dazzle used to never eat kimchi, but now she loves kimchi. So she's coming around on her taste buds. I've been introducing Dazzle to a lot of different cuisine, like the Greek food. Even though it's like semi-Greek, semi-Filipino food. A little bit of Greek flavor in there. At least now she's tried it. And I wanted that. I wanted Dazzle to try different cuisines. You look like Jungwon from Ihipen. All right, I'll have to ask Leanna about that because Leanna, she's the guru when it comes to Korean drama, all that, Chinese drama, all that. Because I don't know, I don't watch it. If I have to read subtitles, I normally don't. I know some of them now, they convert them to English, but like I've never really paid attention to them. It's Leanna and Dazzle are the ones that watch Korean drama and Chinese drama. A few weeks ago, I saw in PH that an entire condo had all the power cut off for not paying its electric. Oh man, people were stuck in their condos 100 feet in the air. Oh wow. It's like, yeah, it's like, that's why, it's definitely good, something to consider, even before buying, because I'm sure at any of those condos, Daniel, you can rent first. A lot of condos here, even at Nucos, people buy them for investment. They run it as an Airbnb or they run it as a rental. So instead of buying right off the bat, on a condo, why not rent it first and live in a condo for a few months and to see how it goes, to see if there's electric issues, if there's power outages, or there's any issues with the condo. How good is their security? How good is their maintenance of the common areas? That's what I say. It's safer to rent. Safer to rent. That way, if you don't like it, you could just say, I'm out. I'm going somewhere else. The minute you invest money, man, it's hard to get out. Once you invest money. How many inches of rain? Ooh, that's tough. That one's hard to answer, Mary, but because depending on the year, depending on the area here in the Philippines, the Luzon area, especially like Cagayan area, Bicol region, they get a lot more rain than we do in Visayas. The Philippines, even though it's not a big country, it just depends on where you live in the Philippines as far as inches of rain. Here in Visayas, I don't consider it bad. I don't consider it bad at all. Even during rainy season here, I don't consider it bad. But I know people in like living in northern Luzon, Ilocos region, Bicol region, they get hammered, man. It's like they get floods there. They got mudslides. They get, we don't got that here in Visayas. To me, I like the rain. That's why we came here in June because like I don't mind the rain and sunshine both. Like right now, I can tell it's going to be a sunny day because I can see the sun trying to come out. So we've been, it's been cloudy the last few days, but today it's looking like we're going to get some sun today. And I like that. I like the change. Like Dazzle and I both brought our jackets. We both have our umbrellas, so that's why it never bothers me. Like rain doesn't bother me. It's just water. It's like, you know, Florida is the legit shark dude. Shark dude. Hurricanes don't get you. Oh, the sharks will. The shark. Not many sharks here, man. It's like I haven't really seen a shark or heard of a shark here around Boracay Island, man. It's like I think if a good size fish don't have a chance around this area because the people fish here. People fish here. They got bangkas here. It's like really for you to find decent tuna, decent sized fish, you have to go farther out in the ocean. Around the area in Boracay, it's like you're not gonna see many big fishes. I do see like the sea turtle. There's popular here around Boracay Island. They even have areas here in Boracay Island where the sea turtles will come on the beach and bury their eggs. They're protected, of course. It's like once they lay their eggs, they'll like cordon the area. Nobody gets around the eggs, and you see them. I have seen that here in Boracay, like a big sea turtle, like walking on the beach, going back to the ocean or coming into the beach. You see that. You see that here in Boracay Island. No worries, no worry, Daniel, no worry. Have no intention of buying a condo or land. Like you said, you don't like it, want to try new areas, you're free. Yes, yes. A lot of times I understand why people want to buy. Like me, we bought a house in Numancia. Our house, it's a 15-year loan on a mortgage. We only have about 6 years. I'm older than Dazzle. I understand that's the mentality of foreigners. Most of us that come here, we end up marrying a younger Filipina. So it's something that we want to pass to our Filipino when we're gone. Same thing. The reason why I bought land for Dazzle in Katiklan, next to her mom's property. So I know, at least Dazzle will have those assets when I'm gone. I have my life insurance. Dazzle's the sole beneficiary of my life insurance. We're preparing because, the reality of this, I'm 29 years older than Dazzle. So, I'm going to be gone way before, she's going to have a life after me. So, I understand, that's the concern about a lot of foreigners here. They want to leave something behind to their Filipina here. Sharknado was trying to say, Sharknado. Did President Duterte close Boracay for a while before? How did local people? Oh yes, yes. I remember that, man. I can't forget that because I love Boracay, and when President Duterte he closed it, it was called the Boracay closure, and it was Boracay rehabilitation is what it was, and it needed it. I understood it. It was at least 6 months long, but you couldn't enter Boracay. You couldn't. It really to me, it actually saved Boracay, in my opinion, because I've been here, coming to Boracay. I moved here in 2011, lived here for 18 months. Boracay was a mess, right before the pandemic, right before that closure. It was out of control. Boracay was out of control because Boracay back in 2011, 2012, during that time, this was a party place. This was really what this was Daytona Beach on spring break. So people that know Daytona Beach in Florida, my friend Daniel, this was a party place. There was like drinking going on the beach here. Like I used to run White Beach all the time. I'm a runner. Yeah. And I would run it in the morning, like at 5:30, like I do my walks now. There would be like beer bottles all over. There would be like Red Horse beer all over. And then even the restaurants, and because they would allow buffets, they would allow eating on the beach. Each of the on Front Beach, the coconut trees, when I was running, there would be mountains of trash, mountains like plastic. I mean, it'd be like a big trash bag full of trash, and there's just mountains of it. I'm like, and it just looks so dirty. Boracay had gotten so dirty because people were partying, buffets at night on the beach, people throwing stuff on the beach, beer bottles, people drinking till like 4 a.m., 5 a.m. on the beach still with Red Horse bottles. So you see bottles floating on the water. There was Mount Luho. Mount Luho is an area here. They built another mountain, it seems like, of trash. Just like they would just pile the trash there, and it stunk. It was terrible. The water wasn't clean. I mean, it was just like a mess. That's why it was decided that the president at the time closed Boracay, and they called it a rehab. The roads in Boracay were terrible, not cement like they are now. No sidewalks in Boracay. The alleys, when you go to, there's some alleys now that flood here. Don't get me wrong, they didn't fix everything, but back then most of the alleys were flooded. If you can imagine, slight rain, and then all of a sudden you got knee-high water in the alleys. You got to go to the beach or walk to your hotel. It was just terrible. That's why they did the Boracay closure for 6 months. Of course, it was hungry times for the locals. People in Caticlan. Boracay is like the moneymaker here in Aklan province. Lean times, for a lot of people, including Dazzle's family, because most of at the time, Dazzle's mom, dad, brother, everybody worked in Boracay, had some income in Boracay. So very lean times. It's almost kind of like the pandemic for them before the pandemic. It was not a good time for local people. It was a hard time because it was closed. Their basic income for over 6 months was closed. They couldn't make any money. But to me, just my opinion now, it saved Boracay. Even now, I don't complain on Boracay because there's a lot of rules now in Boracay. You can't eat on the beach. You can't drink on the beach. Yeah, smokers, you can't smoke on the beach. No pets, no dogs on the beach. You're not even allowed on White Beach anyway. Just that beach where the tourists are. I mean, so many rules. I mean, you even have to get like a permit to to go snorkeling. There's areas here before. I mean, you need a permit to build a sandcastle, one of those Boracay sand. I mean, very strict. A lot of people patrol it. Don't get caught littering on White Beach because like 2,500 peso fine if you get caught littering. So very strict now. But in my opinion, it was needed, and it saved Boracay in a way because now the beach is beautiful. It's like every time I film the beach, of course, they call them pasaway, people that are pasaway that still don't follow rules, that still throw trash, that still don't take care of the beach. But you'll always have that anywhere you go. But overall, you can see when I film videos, you can see they got LGU, the local government here. They do sweeps of the beach every morning. It's like an army of them cleaning the beach with like debris that wash from shore because there's a lot. It's like out in the ocean now, I guess, or out at sea, there's just a lot of trash. Period. So when the habagat comes, all that trash gets washed up on Front Beach, and of course that's not a good look. So man, they have an army of people there daily picking all that trash up, putting it in bags, getting it off the beach. So a lot of work gets put in Boracay to make it look clean. It's like I know that LGU does a great job here for that, because one bad picture of Boracay online, or one knucklehead that posts on Facebook, that terrible how Boracay is, it goes viral. It's not, it's amazing how people don't realize what kind of damage they can do to people's lives. It's not like they're not trying to clean Boracay. It's not they're trying to keep Boracay clean, but just one knucklehead that like posts online, oh, the Boracay's terrible. It got algae, and then they don't know what kind of damage that does to like people's living, like the e-trike drivers here, the fruit vendor, one negative thing like that, people are just, sometimes just don't think what kind of damage they can do. Hey Ria, all right, my good friend Ria. Hey Gino, hope you're doing well. I'm doing well. I'm doing well, my friend. Even my good friend Gray was telling me he's happy that he can tell I'm happy. He can tell I have energy. I mean, I still gotta pace myself, but he can tell, my recovery is going well. I was wondering, how's the process going with the property documents over there? Are things still a bit tricky, or have they improved? Uh, as far as documents, property, it's horrible. It's a nightmare, man. If one thing I would say to people, that's another thing about buying property here. If you buy land, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I've never experienced anything like that. I mean, Dazzle did most of the work, when we bought the land. It's like, because here in the Philippines, they have things called the mother title. They get a tax declaration. It's kind of like they'll send you to one like what was that, the DENR, the Department of it's kind of like the environmental department, and the deed registry or deed, and then they send, I mean, they send you to all these different government agencies. It's like they create all these, it's bureaucracy basically. It's horrible. It's like the most complicating thing you'll do here is buy land. It's like it could be like land that's grandfathered, like somebody owns it before, or passed down. I mean, it's just crazy. Dazzle, we had to go through all that, and we still couldn't get it titled. We eventually had to pay somebody money, like 15,000 pesos, just to get it. I mean, all the work that Dazzle lining up at one agency, going up at one agency, and we ended up paying someone anyway, 15,000 pesos, just to whatever Dazzle had, organize it, because the title has to be registered in Iloilo. I'm like, that's a different province, because it's Region 6. We belong in Region 6. I'm like, what, it doesn't make any sense, but it's crazy. That's the other thing, it's like that will discourage you from buying land here in the Philippines. It's like the most complicated process, and too many people have been scammed, by those, they call them fixers, fixers that will try to fix it, but a lot of people end up getting scams, but because they don't really fix it, they just come up with documents, and then when it's time for you to sell the land, somebody's going to contest it, that somebody else owns the land. So to me, it's like, it's too much of a headache. The only reason we felt comfortable buying the land next door to that, the Dazzle's land, now it's next door to mom's land, it's because it belongs to family member. We paid a family member for the land. That's why we felt safe, because that land's been with the family for so long. So that's the only reason I felt comfortable buying land. But if it was somebody else, like we're not related, the Dazzle's not related to, I would never buy land here, because it's just too complicated, too many scams here as far as land deals. I mean, even the bloggers here that have married Filipina, I'm sure you've seen it. They're having nightmare, regarding land that they bought. It's like if you ask them, they're going like, "Man, I would never do that again." But I understand, like I said, I understand why the vloggers, why foreigners are buying the land because they want. A lot of times it's that age gap relationship. A lot of times we marry young Filipinas here, that's those younger than me. We wanted to leave something to them once we're gone. So Balikbayan guy. Thanks, Gino. I have noticed a lot nicer there now than when I visited there in 2008. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been coming to Boracay since like my first time, was when I was in the military a long time ago when Clark was open. Then early 2000, I would come to Boracay. That's really when I started thinking because early 2000, I retired from the Air Force in 2004. So that's really where the idea of coming to Boracay, retiring in Boracay came to my mind because like I fell in love, even back then, like to 2002, 2003, I would come here and I was like, just fell in love with this island. And that love hasn't changed. I still love Boracay, I know there's development now, there's buildings now, but I can still go to places here that 20, 25 years ago is what I remember. Like if I go to Puka Beach, if I go to Iligan Beach, it's still pretty much the same that how I remember it 20, 25 years ago. Like I said, most of the development in Boracay happens on White Beach. That's kind of like I call it the Waikiki of the Philippines. It's kind of like when you go to Honolulu, Waikiki is the really developed area, but the areas like in the North Shore, or the Big Island, there's places that it still reminds you how Hawaii used to be. Same thing here in Boracay. I can go to Puka Beach, I can go to Iligan beaches, and it's what I remember long time ago, 20, 25 years ago. That's why I still love it. And even the area here in Diniwid, it's like not much development here happening here in Diniwid, as you see on the videos, sari stores, karinderia. There's no big hotels here at Diniwid, so that's why I like staying in these areas in Boracay. It's cheaper. It's cheaper to stay here than on White Beach. Saw videos of how sad Boracay was getting. Respect for all the hard work, improvement, Boracay. Yes, yes. If you saw videos of Boracay, like I would say 2012 to like 2016, it was just a mess because, like I said, people were like just coming here to party, and then I remember there was this thing called pub crawl. You would pay like 1,000 pesos, Daniel, and it's unlimited drinks from like a happy hour, like at 5 p.m. till like midnight. You pay 1,000 pesos, about 18 bucks, and it's a pub crawl. Basically, you go from bar to bar, and you can take shots at bar to bar. So you can imagine, a bunch of drunks on White Beach. What could go wrong? What could go wrong with that? Like I said, it's same like in Daytona Beach. I'm sure, it's like when spring break happens but that's what Boracay used to be known for, is that party atmosphere. Now Boracay is more family oriented. People that come to Boracay now come here with kids. Couples go here. It's not the party place. Come here, kind of like Vegas kind of thing. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And now it's more family oriented is what they're targeting now in Boracay. Are you going crazy? All right, I'm not going crazy, guys. I'm not going crazy, man. Tim Arnett, I was Clark about 89. I'm sure. I mean, we would have crossed paths in 89, 91. That's when I was part of the Pinatubo evacuations at Clark. I worked at the 13th Air Force Medical Center. I worked in the records section. I worked in the admissions to the hospital section while I was there. So if you went to the hospital, I'm sure, we just didn't know each other at the time, but I'm sure we're like seeing the same people around the hospital. You know how you came into the hospital, the left side there was the records section, and then the pharmacy. That's the area and then the front desk. I used to sit at the front desk, the information desk. where we made announcement, information about the hospital. I used to sit at that desk. All right, I got to the bottom. Let me see if I had made some notes. I had made some notes. I always try to make notes just in case I get, we can run out of things to discuss. I get a lot of questions all the time regarding the cost, regarding the cost. Because again, EJ was the same thing. He mentioned to me his monthly budget, when he retires here in the Philippines or who retires in Boracay. So I'm gonna assist EJ. It's like I'm gonna do my best to get him like that three bedroom he's looking for. While I'm here, I'll search around. I'll look for what available housing is gonna be available for him. But as far as like the housing budget, it really would be depending on you. Like. New Coast, that would be the top end in Boracay. That would be like the thing I mentioned before. For a one bedroom condo rental, this is rental. Usually the starting point for a one bedroom is 40,000 pesos. So about $750 is the start of bargaining, because nothing is a fixed price here. And the thing that I always tell people it's not like Nucos has several condominiums, but there's not an office where you can go to the office and hey, kind of like in the US, how when you go to like a real estate agent, they have listings of what's available. You'll know what you can compare this one's going for this price, this one's going for this price. Here at Nucos, what I've seen is a lot of the condos are owned by private individuals that bought the condos 7 years ago or 8 years ago, and they're now using it as Airbnb. You can rent them daily, weekly, monthly, however long you want to stay, or apartment rentals. They'll rent it to you month to month, 6 months at a time, 1 year at a time. So you're dealing with private individuals. You're not dealing with like a company. Like you're not dealing with Nucos. Nucos already sold their properties, unless the new ones that they're building. But the ones that are already up, the condominiums that are already up, they already have private owners. So that's why I said each owner will negotiate the price differently. It's like depending on how much they put on the apartment, depending on if they put a massive flat screen TV in there, updated appliances. Just depends on the owner. That's why I said the starting point of negotiation is like 40,000 pesos, $750 for a one bedroom. For a two bedroom, the starting point is 60,000 pesos or $1,100. And again, this is the high end of Boracay. I don't think there's any more places in Boracay that's going to be at that price, at that price point. Are there apartments available in Boracay cheaper? Plenty of cheaper apartments. Like one bedroom apartments, like if you're looking in Barangay Manok, even Station 3 at Angol area, you can get apartments there like 15 to 20,000. Like this Airbnb that Dazzle and I stay in. You can get this, a starting, again, negotiation now because it depends on your length of stay here. You can get this Airbnb, like, you can get this, its starting point is 20,000 pesos a month. Fully furnished, hot water, free Wi-Fi. So that's only about $350. You're a 5-minute walk to Diniwit Beach, but you're in an area here more local, When you go out, there's not many cafes or many restaurants. There is one cafe here, Cafe Drip, that Dazzle and I have been eating at. There's one up on the hill, like the local snack bar. But most of it's sari-sari stores. Most of it is like karinderya, the cheap karinderya food. Are there stray dogs around these areas? Yes, many stray dogs. That's a lot of times stray dogs is like one of the stray dogs and roosters. That's usually a game changer for a lot of people. The minute they see stray dogs or roosters, they're like, I ain't living there. So nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong. But the price. The price. Is what you can afford. Some people. It's kind of funny to me because some people want to live that rich high life, like Nuco's high life, but they're on a low budget. But to me that's if you're on a low budget retirement, like let's say your retirement in the Philippines is $1,500 Social Security. That's your budget. New Coast is probably not in your in your range. To me, if you're coming here on Social Security alone and your budget is $1,500, that's all you get from Social Security. You need to. Boracay might not be a place for you just because the cost of living here is more, the apartments here are more. Mainland Aklan probably would be better, but you could do it. You could do it with Boracay, because I came here to Boracay in 2011, and all I had was my military pension. But I was single at the time. It's like my apartment on White Beach in Boracay. Really, Casa Camino, right in front of Front Beach on Station 3 at the time was like 10,000 pesos. This was back in 2011. So, but I could afford it because I'm Filipino, like I'm Filipino American. I can eat carinderia food. I don't mind eating carinderia food. I don't mind eating Filipino food because I'm living on Boracay. I'm living on Front Beach, So it just depends. People are all different. People are different. Tim Arnett. Oh yeah, so we were both Tim. We were both fiery vigil survivor. Man, we were like. I still remember that evacuation, man. Remember Tim when we had to the night before they were telling us everybody had to line up at the flight line with our car, and we're gonna drive a caravan to a Subic. Man, I remember all that, Tim. Like it's like it was yesterday. And then when I got to, I was single at the time, so when I got to Subic, they put me up in. Those Marine barracks at QB Point is where they put my quarters, on those Kwanzaa hut. Now I know the name Kwanzaa because before I didn't know what they were called, but they were barracks, Marine barracks, where I stayed during the evacuation. How was the process for you when you bought your property? Now, Camellia, that's part of the reason, Ria, when we bought a Camellia had an office, and now, it's like the house, it's still not our house. So the title is still with the bank or Camellia. I don't know how that works. I don't have a title to our house since I'm paying Banco de Oro. I got 6 more years payment. So I'll find out, I guess, in 6 years, how the title will go. The good thing about here in the Philippines, since I don't have a title to the house, I don't have to pay property taxes. That's different in the U.S. I know in the U.S., the minute you live in a house, they don't care if it's a mortgage. That's your property. Here in the Philippines, it doesn't work. But again, in Numancia, property tax here is nothing anyway. It's like, it's nowhere near. It's probably not even 1 of 100 property tax in the U.S. It's so cheap, because the property tax here, it really just goes to the mayor's office, like a municipality of Numancia. It's not like it's paying for, we don't have, nice parks, roads in Numancia or what else, like a big police department that's funded by the town. It's like property tax, we don't pay for anything, I mean, maybe it'll pay for garbage pickup, maybe, it's like, you don't get a lot of bennies, like, how in the U.S., the nicer community to live, the higher your property tax, but you get a lot of benefits from your community. The higher property tax, more likely, the schools are better. The roads are better. You got a lake probably. But here in the Philippines, they don't tax people here heavy on property tax because most people can't afford. Most people. When you're living in a bamboo hut, when you're bahay kubo, when your house is like bamboo and nipa, it's like, how much property tax can you afford? But the process was easy. Basically when we bought The house, when we signed up for Camellia, I remember it was 2014 is when I signed up for Camellia. The house was supposed to be built by 2015, but of course, it got delayed. It got delayed because, again, island time. They're slow at building the house. The house was only supposed to take like a year to build, and it's only a two-bedroom house, two-bedroom, one bath, 400 square feet. It's not a big house, but it took them, supposed to be a year, but at the time they were still building the community. There was no fence in the community, no gate guard, no clubhouse, no swimming pool. So all that was still being built all at the same time. But it took them almost 2 years to build the house. So it got delayed for almost a year before we could move in there in 2016. But they helped with the bank and everything, I think at the time we had a choice of Union Bank and Banco de Oro, and I went with Banco de Oro. So it was nice that they had the office, and then they explained the paperwork. It was a lot easier to buy when they were building Camellia. Now I don't know now, if you got to purchase, because now if you purchase a Camellia, you have to purchase from people that it's like me. Like once I pay off my house, I can sell it. Or even now, if I wanted to sell it, I could sell it. Because here in the Philippines, even though I'm paying mortgage, I got 6 years left mortgage, I can sell it to somebody, and somebody can assume my loan. And then whatever equity I have on the house, we would just like arrange something, hire an attorney, and draft something that they would pay me if I wanted to get it out of the house. But it's not easy to sell, even at Camellia. I know many of the houses there are for sale, and it's not an easy process, even for them. It's like buyers are always hard to find in the Philippines. It's like, any house here, like even our house was like 1.5 million at the time when we moved in there. That's close to like $27,000. And now it's appreciated, of course, but not many people just got that kind of cash. And a lot of times when you buy a home in the Philippines, it's cash basis. Not many banks in the Philippines will loan you money unless you have collateral, unless you own land already or you own a business. A local Filipino asking for a house loan for like 2 million pesos. That's about $36,000. Not many banks here would give that to a middle class Filipino. Most of the transactions here are cash or agreement with the lawyer. You arrange an agreement with the lawyer, and the person would like give you monthly payments, and then the minute they miss the payments, they're out of it. The house remains to you. So Daytona is not the only madhouse in Florida. At Miami, Fort Lauderdale, yeah. I just say Daytona because that's what I saw, on videos in the past. I'm sure, Daniel. There's a lot of party places, a lot of spring breakers because Florida's always known for spring break. In Texas, there's a place in Texas where people go to for spring break. South Padre Island, I think is what it's called, but it's the same thing. It's like people get there to get crazy. Stray dogs. Free barbecue. No. I know it's joke lang. They don't do that anymore, Daniel. Condo in Boracay, then maybe longer. Yeah, I mean, like it's so easy to rent a condo in Boracay for month to month. Rent it month to month. Try it for 2-3 months and see how you like it. Like me, I only planned on staying in Boracay 6 months when I initially moved here in 2011. I ended up staying 18 months. And then I just realized long term it would benefit me to stay more in the mainland because it was cheaper rent, cheaper cost of living. Everything here in the island has to be ferried over to the island here. So everything here costs a little bit more. It's like that's why a lot of us stay here, enjoy Boracay, but we live in the mainland. Like now, for me, it's perfect setup. I can always, like Dazzle and I are talking, maybe every 6 months. After 6 months, we'll rent an Airbnb like this again and stay 30 days, and then back to our life in Numancia. The Sari Star resorts in Dirimuniwid are like little mini. Yes, yes, they're like little mini palenques. You are right, Tanya. They even sell fresh fish. They even sell chicken, like dressed chicken, pork chops. I mean, it really is a little palenque. Uh, but the thing I noticed, because there is a palenque here in Boracay by Station 2 up on the hill. The prices of the palenque is still cheaper because, the cost of getting here to the Niwid. Like, if I was going to wake up, the Sari Sar store is right here. It's so convenient. The prices are still cheaper at the palenque than here because the cost of like the convenience, because if I have to go to the palenque, I have to ride the habal, that's 20 pesos. When I get on top of the hill, I have to ride the e-trike, that's 30 pesos. So just to get to palenque and back here to Diniwid, it's like 100 pesos. So that's already like, almost $2 just to get there, having not bought anything. But, so if I'm only buying like tomatoes or onions, that 100 pesos can buy me some here in Diniwid already. Good morning. Hey, JB Manalang. Good morning. Good morning. Who is the developer for Camellia? Camellia in the Philippines is Villar family. Manny Villar, I guess he was a senator before. His wife is a senator, I think currently still. And then the daughter now, Camille Villar. They're like becoming a political dynasty here now in the Philippines because Manny Villar is like one of the billionaires here in the Philippines. He's made so much money on Camellia. Camellia is like on almost 80 provinces in the Philippines. There's a Camellia development. Even here in Boracay, there's a Camellia development here. He's a big real estate guy. Camellia is a big, Manny Villar is a big developer real estate guy here in the Philippines. I remember where car tire was popping from the weight of the ash. Car tire. Oh, wow. I just remember like afterwards, because I was at QB Point when, in Subic when the volcano erupted and everything was buried, I was single at the time, so they kept me for a little bit. They were evacuating most of the ones with family, and I had to help, you basically help wherever you can help, it's like distributing food, MREs, whatever they needed, clean up here, clean up there. I remember the gym, the roof of the gym collapsed, not the whole gym, portions of it, damaged all over. But I don't recall popping from the weight of the ash. I don't remember that. But I'm sure it did, man. Because the ash was heavy. And then it would rain. I remember, Tim. It almost like between the ash and the rain, it almost like, I'm sure it felt like cement almost. I believe it's the Villar. Yes, Villar family. Very powerful family now because they're like senators and congressmen and mayors, another political dynasty here in the Philippines now. Thanks, Tanya. They developed Camille himself all over the Philippines. Correct. Many places in Florida had taxes on our home have increased by 300%. Man, that's crazy. To 500%. Wow. Can change, increase your taxes at any time. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, man. Your county. All right, man. How did you and your wife meet? Oh, all right. I got a good story. What happened to me like in 2012, I hadn't used my GI Bill. I'm retired United States Air Force, so GI Bill for United States military retired is it's an education benefit in the military. I hadn't used it and it was going to expire. I got a notice from the VA that says, "Hey, you haven't used your educational benefits. It's going to expire in like 7 years or something like that." And at the time, it's like I was living in Boracay. I actually, at one time, I had an apartment in Boracay, and then I ended up getting an apartment in Calibo because the apartments, it's 10,000 pesos here, and then my apartment in Calibo was 7,000 pesos. So both apartments only cost me like 17,000 pesos. And the reason is I went to college on the GI Bill for 4 years. I went to STI College Calibo. Is where I went to college. I took IT, information technology, coding. It was fun. It was fun. Those 4 years. The benefit for me in the military, what it did was I got a housing allowance. So for when I went to school, for the 9 months that I went to school here in the Philippines, at the time, I know it's more now, it's over $2,000 now, but my housing allowance in Calibo, I was getting $1,500 a month for housing allowance. So that kind of encouraged me to go to school, just because it's a benefit that I earned in the military. So basically for 36 months, for 4 years, nine months out of the year, the military was paying me $1,500 to go to school. So I was able to save that money. A lot of that money I was able to save because I already have a military pension. So it kind of doubled my pension for those while I was going to school. So for me, it was a no-brainer to go back to school and earn a degree. And that's where I met Dazzle. We were classmates for 4 years at STI College Calibo. And then when we graduated together, we graduated same class of 2016. We got married, so we got married right after graduation. And now we've been married for 9 years. Come April, it'll be 10 years. We'll celebrate our 10-year anniversary come April. And I'm trying to think of something cool, to celebrate our 10-year wedding anniversary. I'm still trying to see. When we had gotten married, we got married actually here in Boracay. Our reception was at Puka Beach. There used to be a restaurant at Puka Beach called Puka Grande. So I read, we closed that restaurant. They catered right on Puka Beach. You can't do that now. The restaurant is gone. That they don't even. I haven't even seen. They haven't even allowed, again, because of the rehab. They don't allow like big weddings anymore the beach itself. Most of the weddings now in Boracay, you have to be in a hotel like pool or hotel property hotel. I don't think I have that. So that was one experience that I'm glad I was able to do for Dazzle, because we were able to celebrate our wedding on the beach in Boracay. New Yorkers are awesome. All right, New Yorkers. All right. Balikbayan ka, Ginno, may I ask what kind of miles per you get? I like it. Oh yeah, man, it's awesome, man. The miles per gallon, I haven't measured it, but it's awesome. It's like the Wigo is a 3-cylinder car, but it got enough giddy up, and it's not like, we don't live like in Manila, or the expressways in Manila where you would probably need more horsepower in your car. We live in a Aklan province. I mean, the speed limit on the highway here is like 60 kilometers per hour. I think that's like 39 miles per hour is the speed limit. I'm not, that of course the public transportation like probably doubles that speed, but like, I can just cruise, nice and easy when I drive to Rojas City. Like I'll have to drive that when we visit the Canadian Beaver on the 21st, and then for their anniversary, 1 year anniversary of the Canadian Beaver on the 21st of June, Dazzle and I will attend. And then Iloilo is an easy drive. I take my time. I mean, the gas mileage is awesome. I haven't measured it because it's confusing to measure here, man, because it's like kilometers, everything's kilometers per hour here, liters per gallon. I have to do the math. I have to do the math to figure out the miles. But it's awesome because we took it on a long road trip. In 2022, we went to Luzon. We went from Batangas in Luzon on the ferry. We went all the way to Baguio City up in the mountains. We went to Ilocos Norte, Pagudpod in Ilocos Norte. I mean, we traveled all over Luzon. It saved money on gas. I knew it saved money on gas. I was like, man, I can fill up the tank now of our car, drive from our house to Iloilo City and back, and I'll still have like over one fourth of a tank. I mean, it's an awesome car for gas mileage. And then it never breaks, man. Our Toyota Wigo, we've had it now 2018, so 7 years. No engine problem at all for 7 years. It's like an amazing, Toyotas, man. It's like I'm glad I chose the Wigo. My friend Michael Quezon, he lives in Tres Martires. He just bought a Toyota Wigo, and it's the same thing. He's so happy about this Toyota Wigo. He loves the gas mileage. He loves that it's very reliable vehicle. Being a single soldier was a curse. Okay, you get called for that. I know, right? Yeah, well, it is what it is, man. It is what it is, like I said, when you're single and you're a soldier, they always give us all the duties because, and I understand because the married guys at the time, the married guys, they got families, they got kids. I wish I can be there for the Beaver's anniversary. My wife is, from Boracay City. All right. Have to wait for next. Oh, that's not far. That's not far. Balikbayan guy. They're expecting a lot of people come. I know Michael invited like most of the vloggers in Panay Island. I think we're all gonna be there. I haven't met. Majority of them haven't met. So it'd be nice to talk to other vloggers and then to support Michael and Kat. It's like, all right, I got to the bottom here. It's 7 here now. I think I'm gonna end the live stream because I know today Dazzle, she told me she wanted to get up early today because so we can spend more time with our friend Gray because he's leaving soon on the 15th Sunday. He's gonna be going to let me close this, turn off this light here. He's going to be going to Cebu City first and then to BGC. I think that was his plan. He's going to spend some time at IT Park and then find his place in BGC. Oh, right there. I got to shut it down, man. This thing is like tricky shutting this down. Get to the Beaver early because they are getting YouTube. It's all right, man. For me, it's really not. I'm not a drinker. So if there's so many people there, I just want to show support. I just want to shake that. Shake Mike's hand. I tell I'm Dazzle's friends with Kat. So see Lara. Just Dazzle and Lara. They got a connection. It's like they have fun. Just the. For me, main thing is just like I just want to show my face that way. Hey, it's like they're friends, so it's not like I'm gonna go there and start drinking a lot of beers. I'm not a big beer drinker. It's like I'm sure we'll find a spot, even like on the beach. We can order food from the Beaver, eat it. Just to absorb the vibe. Meet people. So not a big thing. Have a good day. All right, have a good day. JB, you too, my friend. Have a good day, JB Manalang. Ingat, kuya. Ingat, Olsen. Have a great day. Man, Boracay, man. I know we're going to have a great day. It's always a great day in Boracay. Ray from Beaver is going to attend a rodeo in Masbate. I have many. Oh, nice. I didn't know. I haven't been able to watch YouTube. We were so busy here in Boracay Island. I haven't been watching YouTube much. But I'll have to look. Now at some of the on YouTube. Balikbayan ka. Take care, my brother. Hey, take care, my brother. Thank you again for joining the live stream this morning. Appreciate you, my brother. God bless. Good night, everyone. All right. Take care, everyone. Everybody, good night, good morning, whatever you're from. It's like everybody take care. Stay blessed, everyone. All right, Tanya. All right. Root beer. Tanya says root beer. All right. Take care.